Hello again, and welcome to Game Day from the UK. Another night, a back-to-back. We're here to preview tonight's game against the Sacramento Kings. We're also going to rant quite a lot about last night's horrific overtime loss to Golden State Warriors. We're missing a guy today. Sam is not feeling great, so he has dropped out. Completely understandable, Sam, that you're not feeling well today. So we wish you get well soon, mate. I'm still here with John and Danny. John, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
Good. Yeah, not bad. Danny, how are you, mate?
No. No good.
No good. No, in fact, I don't know why I said, yeah, I'm all right, because it's not all right. This is back-to-back 3 a.m. tips that we should have won against depleted, short-handed teams. That would have been a fantastic win. You know, we would have had a great win against LA, a great win against Golden State. That's two big results that were in our hands and we've dropped. The manner of the defeat last night was unacceptable. Yeah, just it wasn't good enough. I had work today as well, which means I've had about 2 hours sleep. I'm absolutely shattered. I need a haircut. I might as well get it all out. You know, it's just it's not a good one. But no, let's get into it then. We will preview the Kings, obviously, but let's get into last night's game first of all. We seem to have this incredible knack of outperforming or making the latest L worse than the last one, which is quite impressive. Quite impressive considering how bad the L's are. And this one was just it tops it for me. I don't know what you think, John. Do you think that is at the moment goes down as our worst defeat of the season, considering we moaned about the LA game, the fact that they was missing 4 starters? Well, it wasn't much better last night. Late scratch for Draymond Green. He didn't play. Wiseman was out. So, again, it was short-handed. And, again, this was in our grasp and we let it go. So, does this one go down as the worst defeat of the season so far?
I'd say yes, because I looked at a stat that Curry plays much worse when Green's off. And Green wasn't on. And he already struggled, like shooting 2. He started like 2 for 11 or something like that. And we played well. We had a 19-point lead. It's like we blew like a larger lead each game. Starts off with a 15-point lead, then 19. Probably going to be blowing 25-point lead soon.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. It's I mean, that's the most frustrating thing, is that Miami played very well in this game for 3 quarters of it. If this would ended up in a W, I would have been tweeting out saying, excellent bounce back win. We played well. As I said, we played well for 3 quarters of this game. Golden State played well for 9 minutes of that game last night and ended up with a W, which is unacceptable. This isn't good. We can point at a lot of things. We're going to go through it in a minute. But you can't really, Danny, see what were the positives first. Before we go into many of the negatives, what were the positives for last night? Were there many?
It felt like we had energy. The ball had energy. It was moving. Bam and Jimmy were making things happen. It just felt like we were watching a good basketball game. Didn't feel like sort of the past few where you were like, oh, well, we've taken this L already. No, I felt like I was watching and I was enjoying the game. It was a close game. It was quite surreal to see Curry miss so many shots. I mean, we didn't particularly guard him that well. I think he just had a bad night. But when he makes them when it counts, and he did. So, and then we just couldn't respond in OT, and then I don't want to really talk about Spo's lack of timeout decision.
Yeah, well, you took the words out of my mouth. That was going to be the next thing. Before we come on to negatives, the only positives I had, I thought, as you said, a lot of the games this year where we have lost, it's either been down, we've either lost by blowout defeats or we've lost games that we should have won. There's not that many you can just say, okay, it was a close game that could have gone either way. We obviously had this in our grasp. We had a 19-point lead at one point. We had a 15-point lead with 9.5, I think, minutes to go. So one that well and truly slipped out of our grasp there. And you're right, obviously, Steph Curry, he doesn't often have a cold night. Last night was a cold night, but he made it count when it matters. So that's what great players do. Let's come on to that sort of game-changing lack of decision, let's say, from Spo. Now, obviously, I'm assuming you guys are. I am. I'm a big Spo fan, but he's done this a few times this season. He's made a few strange calls or non-calls, non-challenges, strange not to do timeouts in critical times. And last night, when that free throw was missed with the scores level, we had 9 seconds on the clock to get that advanced and then work a play to win the game. John, we allowed the play to go on. It ended up with a Kendrick Nunn sort of half second to go attempt at a layup, which fouled. Spo, this one's on him, right?
Yeah, the ending to the regulation is more on him because of that timeout. But I do get coaches not wanting to do that, so the defense isn't set. The Kerr didn't get a timeout either for Curry to hit a dag on Nunn, but we don't have a Curry, and it was who grabbed the rebound was that Hero, wasn't it? And I don't trust Hero bringing up the ball. Making a play for others. If it was Jimmy bringing up the ball, I wouldn't have a problem with not calling a timeout.
Yeah,
but that was just unorganized, and it should have been a timeout.
Yeah,
I just want to say as well. We don't have a team that's together and is a reliable offensive team. We don't have a reliable offense. We haven't had all season. So structure is kind of you need. I feel like they would have executed that play so much better if they had at least a structure. They don't have a structure. It's kind of if the dribble handoff thing doesn't work and then it's nothing. So that sort of lack of structure right at the end there could have really helped. I think settle the guys down and then try and execute a play, because a scramble play with 9 seconds to go is not great for this team. Maybe last year that would have worked, but not this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. And John, that was a good point as well, because the ball did end up in Hero's hands, and Hero's got this sort of reputation of being Mr. Fourth Quarter, etc. We know that he can do big things in big moments, but bringing up the ball, that's not really the person you want. You don't want. He's not the person to settle down. That's where the ball should be in Jimmy's hand. So yeah, it was a really strange one. And Spo, I think, has thrown his hands up and said, "Look, that one is on me." It just seems real out of character, really strange decision, and it's not the first time he's done it in the last few weeks. We've seen it a few times, a few questionable decisions from Eric. So just while we're touching on Jimmy, because we mentioned there about sort of you'd want the ball in his hands as your closer, but when I look at the Jimmy Butler that was in Philly, as a closer, he's the guy. He is what you want. He's shooting. You could rely on him to make that shot. That's sort of not there anymore. And Jimmy, another triple double last night, moves into to second place on his own, I think now in triple doubles, which is quite amazing considering he's only been there for 1.5 years. But what do you make of Jimmy? Because again, it was a good performance last night, but we rely on him to do what he is great for, which is to be aggressive, drive to the basket, get those free throws, and no free throws last night, John. That's really unusual. So if you take those 10 free throws, you'd expect him to maybe make 8 of them. We probably won the game. What do you think with Jimmy's performance last night? Because it was a triple double, a lot of facilitation there, but didn't get those points that we needed. So what do you make of Jimmy's performance last night?
I found it a bit too passive. The amount of times he just goes into the lane, has a dunk or layup, and then passes it to Iggy or someone else and just bricks it. I keep seeing the comments from Miami Heat beats or something. There's a reason why Iggy's open. Yeah, Jimmy just still does it. And I looked at the stat. I think he had only 1 field goal made in the fourth quarter out of 5.
Yeah,
and that can't happen if you want to win.
Yeah, it can't happen if you want to win, exactly. And this is what I mean about this closer that he's had this reputation of. It's sort of fallen away. It's a strange one, because I'm not knocking him at all, because he's been brilliant, and actually, apart from the last couple of games, his form since he come back from COVID has been exceptional. But also, Danny, one thing that's quite concerning is this was another defeat, but it was another defeat with 41 minutes on Jimmy's legs. Is that something to be concerned about?
Yeah, I mean, we pay him the big bucks to do this work, right? We brought him here to be the leader of the team, the heart and soul of the team. But the fact that he has to lay it out every single game to just make it a chance that we can win these games is too much. You want to be sort of taking a comfortable lead, and maybe even to the point where you've got a comfortable lead, you sit him halfway through the fourth or whatever, and bring the bench unit out. So but that is not the situation that we're in. He has to put it out there every single night. It's not sustainable if you want to make the playoffs and you're relying on Jimmy Butler to do that every single night.
Yeah, no, so that's true. And before we come on to the Kings game, one more thing about the team. Again, we had not the best game again from Kelly, and I'm not digging out Kelly because he's the best of a bad bunch at the moment. Mo Harkless was supposed to be in there; he's been non-existent. This just hasn't worked out. KZ Okpala, who knows where he is at the moment? I mean, we saw a couple of minutes of KZ in garbage time against Utah. This is someone that the Heat had such high expectations with, and we've not seen him. So, Myers has been injured, so we had some success last year with Myers at the 5 and Bam at the 4. That's obviously now not available. So Kelly's holding it down, but there's been a bit of a debate since this defeat today on Twitter about what the Heat need most. Do they need a scorer? Do they need defense? Do they need a new point guard? Do they need rim protection? John, what do you think? For me, I'm not digging out Kelly, but I've had enough of Kelly at the 4 now. Fair play to him. He's doing what he's best, but for me, I think that's the key position that we've got to address above anything else, above any of those key attributes. Do you agree with that, or do you think that again we need we need scoring or we need rim protection more?
I'd say we need a scorer like Levine, Beal type player, and then fix the position at the 4. Because I think if you have like a Levine player, that would offset the position at the 4. Our main concern is like the turnovers, and I don't think that an upgrade like Jay. I don't think Jay would help us with their turnovers and just creation, because we don't have because Dragic's out. We don't have a creator aside from Jimmy. So that will definitely help, and a better player at the 4 won't help with the creation.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's fine. Harry there, I'll just bring this back up again. Harry saying, I don't ever question Pat, but rejecting Harden so we could keep Hero was a big mistake. We need another superstar to take some pressure off Jimmy. So that's sort of on the same lines of what you've just said there, John. We need another scorer. It is when you look at this team that was in the finals last year, when they look good, they look good. But when you do pick the bones out of it, then this is right, isn't it? There's a lot of holes here. There's a lot that we need to do. What do you think, Danny? Are you more defensive minded, or do you think that the scoring is the issue?
It's tough because we're bad on both ends. But just quickly to reference the point that that gentleman made in the comments there is, obviously it wasn't just going to be for Hero. We would have had to unload the whole chest, and I understand what he's saying, because I agree. I would love to have James Harden on this team, but I think it was the fact that their ask was massive. So, but anyway, it's interesting because I was listening to Clutch Adam today. I was watching I think he was on the post game at some point, and I've kind of had a change of heart listening to him in terms of like these, because yesterday you asked me about Rudy Gay, and I said I loved it, and I do, I love it. But thinking about it, Rudy Gay isn't going to change the team either. And if you're not going to be able to change the team, you don't get a John Collins or a Bradley Beal or someone, or like a Levine or something. Then, do you keep your assets and wait? Because I just don't see So I don't think, unless we can make a big splash for someone like that this season in the trade deadline, then wait.
I do agree with you. It is a tough one. We sort of mentioned it a little bit earlier. I'll just bring up this one from Chris Howard. Jimmy getting burned out already? ? Long disrupted season, left it all on the line in the final. Short turnaround, COVID, etc. And now he's playing big minutes. Yeah, so we did sort of just cover that a second ago. So it is a worry. I do worry about Jimmy. I think that I just don't see like we've got any other option at the moment, because we need to pick up wins. The only thing that I like, I'm not too concerned, is the fact that because the league is so over the place, you still feel confident that, again, when full health comes back, that we'll have enough to make the playoffs. And like we've just said there, Danny, I don't see the point of making a big splash right now, because at this moment in time, it's difficult to see Miami any better than a second round exit. So there's the question then of are you wasting another year of Jimmy's career? There's lots to be answered.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But Jimmy,
Can I just
think
add?
at the moment,
I was checking on Jimmy's stats, and people like saying like he's getting burnt out or playing high minutes. He's playing actually the lowest amount of minutes since his like second year.
Yeah.
So he's not really playing big minutes compared to his career.
I think it's not necessarily the minutes per se as how much it's running through Jimmy.
Yeah.
And just how much he's the focal point of every. And, you know, his game is not an easy game to play.
Yeah,
he's so physical. You know, he gets beat up on down low like all the time, going for those, you know, trying to draw fouls and things like that. And you know, he is our defensive anchor as well, or our defensive leader. You know, so he's putting a lot of stress on his body. So you're right, it might be the lower minutes, but I think regardless, I think it's still the amount we rely on him. You know.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I saw that earlier. Same sort of echoing your thoughts there. Yeah, it's not as big as you want, but it's more the game he plays. Yeah, it is a good highlight thing to say. So okay, let's leave the negativity. Let's put that to one side for a minute. We've got a big game again tonight against the Sacramento Kings. The Kings are 12-15. The Heat are now 11-17. Kings are 7-10 at home. Miami are 4-10 away. The Kings, as are Miami, are on a bad run as well. They have lost 4 in a row. We have lost 3 in a row. The bookies have this close again, Heat by a spread of -1. So they're expecting a close game here again. Harrison Barnes is out, which is promising for Miami because he's been very good for them this year. Before we get into any more sort of stats, etc., John, what do you think of tonight's game? Are you worried about this? What do you see as the sort of key points here if we're going to take this W, if anything else?
I've been optimistic all the time, but I'm kind of worrying. Even though Barnes is out, Green was out today, and we still lost. So I don't think Barnes being out will make a big difference. We could still lose easily.
Yeah.
Fox and Heald and everyone could be out, and Bagley and everyone. It doesn't matter. Like at this point, I'm just this season. I'm just not. Yeah.
This is true. That was probably the most pathetic thing to have said, that Barnes is out tonight. It means nothing. Yeah,
it doesn't, does it?
Fox, Hield, etc. could all be out. It wouldn't make much difference. One thing that is maybe promising for Miami, I've got a promising thing and a negative thing. Promising is that they are bottom in defensive rating in the NBA. Their last 4 games, they've conceded 119, then 123, then 124, and 136. So considerably getting worse. So that would help for Miami. You know, offensive issues have been a bit of a thing lately, so maybe that can give us a confidence boost. But maybe not so good is the fact that they are well rested. They haven't played since Monday. They're quite a fast team. Again, Miami don't like that. So, Danny, what do you think? Is this going to be a tough night? And if anything, if we're going to take anything from this road trip now, does this need to be the game where we do pick up a W?
This game is, I think this game is massive.
Yeah,
I think this is huge for the team. If we don't win this game, there's something's, you know, I mean, if it's not already brewing, I think something's gonna happen or change or something. But this game is massive for the team. I think it's a big turning point in terms of the actual game itself. Fox is so quick. Like you said, you know, we don't deal well with pace. We like to play a slow game. You know, you say that they're, you know, conceding a lot of points. You know, they're you say last in defensive rating. Did you say?
Yeah.
I mean, that's great if you can generate offense, but if, you know, your dribble handoff's been scouted by everyone in the league, it's, you know, they're probably going to stop that. So I don't know. I'm not hopeful.
No, and echoing what you said, John, I mean, you're not hopeful either. It doesn't bode well that they haven't played since Monday, and we've just come off of an overtime loss to Golden State. But, you know, this team, they showed resilience to start the game. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. As we said right at the beginning of this program, we played well for 3/4 of that game last night. That it was a good performance. It was just we capitulated at the end, not helped by not scoring in overtime for the first 3 minutes. So it only took a small run, and they was going to win, which they did, and that's what Curry's paid to do. So again, do you feel like there will be a rally around in the locker room here, or do you just think that it's going to be too demoralising? They're well rested. We are absolutely not. And you just don't see any hope with this tonight?
More on that, like the second option, because we said the same thing last time that UD's going to shout at them and we're going to have a good win yesterday. That didn't happen. We had the same thing about Clippers, that the Utah game was a bad loss, and then still it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, I agree. I'm not particularly hopeful. I think we'll start well again. We've started well the last few games. I just think that the rest they'll smell blood tonight, and I think that overall the fact that they're a fast team, I think that'll be the overwhelming factor with this. Whiteside in his last game, Danny, was 24 minutes. He scored 26 points and 16 rebounds. Inevitable heat killer tonight. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
I'm so mad at this team at this point that anything is possible, and I just whatever. The
road trip finishes. We've got 3 games left. Kings tonight, Lakers, and then Thunder. A lot of people just think the Thunder is an automatic L. I've got no real confidence in that. So if I could, both of you, this question too, John, if we was offered 1 and 2 now in those last 3 games, a solitary win, would you take that?
No, I think we could do better than that.
Okay, so you take it. To be honest, Danny, I'm if someone said 1 and 2 now, I wouldn't be disappointed with it. I think naturally, as a Miami Heat, if we're going to go around with the slogan of the nastiest, most conditioned, best organisation, you can't say we'll take 1 of 2 in a 3-game series against Kings, Lakers, and Thunders. You'd have to. Well, the Heat will target all 3, but we know that's not going to happen. So 2 and 1 would be great here. I wouldn't actually be disappointed with 1 and 3. So, go on, Danny.
That it doesn't seem to exist anymore. That tough, gritty. It looks to me they have no spine right now. And the culture thing that we love so much and we praise and shout about from the rooftops, it's not here this season. So you can't hang your hat on the culture and that stuff this season at all. It's a.
Yeah, I agree. Before All-Star break, there is 8 games left, 4 at home, 4 away. This is what it looks like. So Kings, Lakers, Thunder, Raptors, Jazz, Hawks again, and then the Pelicans. Tough games. John, what would you take through that stretch?
I'd see wins for Hawks, Pels, that's 3. Could we win against the Raptors? Lose to the Jazz? I'd say 3 or 4 wins.
Yep, I think Danny, we would again similar sort of question, but you would take 4 and 4 at this point when you just get to All-Star break, reset. Hopefully there'll be some moves as well at that point. We're historically, as we covered last night, we're historically a better team after All-Star break. So 4 and 4 through that stretch. That's not easy. You'd snatch that, wouldn't you, right now?
Yeah, you would. It's not going to be easy at all.
No.
Okay. Most of those teams are playing better basketball than we are. So
yeah. The 2 Hawks games seem pretty big there. If we're going to start climbing those tables, those 2 need to be won. I think that's the glaring ones there. It's going to be tough. As I said, even 1 and 3 through this last stretch, I would take now at the moment. Right. So let's get some. Before we go. I think I know where this is going, but as we always end every episode with our predictions. So, John, I'll start with you. I think I know which way we're going to say. A Heat win tonight or not?
I'll have to say a win.
John.
These couple probably meet. I think we're going to win tonight.
Okay.
Good. We already beat the Kings as well. So
yeah, tough game. Last minute bam stop. Yeah, that was that was a fun game. One we took. So, Danny, what you think?
Yeah, I'm going to take the L, but I like John's optimism.
Yeah, good man, John. You're optimistic for all of us because, unfortunately, I think we'll play hard. I think we'll give them a good game. I think it will be a fun game. I just think that the fact that they're so rested and we're not at all after last night, it's going to be a disappointing L again, I believe, tonight. And we'll see. It might be it. It might be enough to see Pat pull the trigger on some of these players. We'll see what happens. But at the moment, since we started it, this is the 3rd episode we've done of this show. We are 0 and 2 so far since we've been doing it. So I apologise to the Miami Heat, but please tonight another 3 a.m. start. This is the 3rd 3 a.m. start in 4 nights. please give us a win, guys. Come on, please. Absolutely. We need it. We need a morale boost. Heat Twitter is fighting with each other again. We need something. We need something to win. So let's hope for a good game. Danny, where can everybody find you, mate?
At Danny Ronaldo on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh yeah, I've just seen you've got it. Oh, you've both done it today. Well done. And John at John Jablanca there. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back for the next one, next game day. Hopefully Sam will be back with us. Hope he feels better soon. And hopefully a win to go into the Lakers game with a bit of momentum. Again, thank you for everybody for joining us. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody that does. Thank you for everybody in the comments. Thank you for all the people that have watched back afterwards. And you can do that. It will stay on our YouTube feed forever. So good luck. Let's go, Heat. See you soon, guys.